at Tarot with Durican, and I know that I'm a day late with getting this video out. I apologize for that. There was some excitement last night in Utah that kind of drew my attention away from doing this. There was I guess a guy with a bomb on one of our light rail stations downtown, so I took some time off to pay attention to that story. I'm kind of a news freak, so whenever something like that happens, it draws my attention very easily. So, in addition to getting the video today, I'm also going to do the daily reading that I do on Fridays to let everyone know how the weekend's going to shape up. I am using my Rider-Waite deck. It's my Rider-Waite mini deck, cute little thing like this. They're easy to carry around, and I always keep one on my desk so that I've got my cards available to me. I use my cards a lot, not just for tarot reading, but also in writing and in exploring deeper meditative concepts. So I suggest, if you're interested in learning the tarot, if you're interested in practicing with the tarot, of purchasing a little deck just to keep on you and to keep around for those moments when you need the cards the most. These little tarot decks can be purchased at Crone's Hollow, where I give my readings. If they are out, they can order some more in. It usually takes about 2 to 4 weeks. So if you'd like a little itty-bitty tarot deck, they're relatively inexpensive. And if there aren't any in the case, be sure to talk to whoever it is behind the counter on getting a special order in. So today, I don't know if you heard me, but I did shuffle the deck, and I'll continue shuffling a little bit in my hands. Today's card is the Page of Pentacles. The Page of Pentacles is usually a card that represents an ambition for things of a material nature. So what this card is saying about our weekend is to pay attention to our surroundings, always good advice, especially our physical surroundings. Given the recent excitement that happened downtown, I'm sure that there might be a little bit of that coming through as well. It's also telling us to allow our needs of physical nature, eating, drinking, sex, playing around, going out and being physical, let those needs inform your activities for the weekend. If you have a choice between going to the movies and sitting down for 2.5 hours watching something that probably isn't as good as everyone says it is, or going out to the park, take the park. With the winter months coming up, you're not going to get a whole lot of opportunity to see the vibrant colors of nature as much as you'd probably want to. And it's a perfect time, with autumn finally making an appearance, to go out and enjoy the last few days of color. So, with that said, and our weekend tarot reading given, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about a subject that's a little controversial, at least where I work. And that subject is the Ouija board. And the Ouija board, you usually have one of two responses. Either somebody absolutely refuses to have anything to do with it. They think it's evil. They think all it does is open up the gates to hell and let the demons and the devil pour out through it. Or you really like it. So I'm going to tell you a story. When I was a little boy, my mom told me this story about a time when she was a little girl. She was in California. That's where my family comes from. And she found a Ouija board. She got some friends together, and they all sat around playing with the Ouija board. Now, the Ouija board scared the shit out of her. The spirit that came through were telling them all to kill themselves and to kill each other. So once the Ouija board session was done, my mother threw it in the fireplace, caught it on fire. Well, a few days went by and the world seemed to be going by relatively, usually. And then one day she got home from school, and sitting on the living room table was the Ouija board. Of course, this freaked her out because she had caught the damn thing on fire. So she made some calls to a priest. The priest came by and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do. This thing is evil. You guys just need to move." Of course, nobody moved. So my mother then contacted her grandmother, which would be my great-grandmother. And my great-grandmother was a very well-known psychic where she lived. She had people that came over to her house quite regularly for readings. And my great-grandmother took care of the situation. So that's a story that a lot of people have. It's not just the story that I've heard. It's a story that a lot of people have heard. There was a little bit of a movie that was made about it, or at least part of it. Paranormal Activity, I think is what it was called. And it's a myth about the Ouija board that has been around for God knows how long. The Ouija board itself is not evil. The Ouija board, like the tarot cards, like a pendulum, like a hammer, is a tool, and its intent comes from the person using it. Just like a hammer can be used to hammer a nail and build a house, or to murder a whole bunch of people, it's up to the user. What you put into the Ouija board, you get back out. So if you are doing a spirit board session, a Ouija board session, intending to be scared, you will be scared. If you do a Ouija board session with the intent of learning something, you will learn something. The way that the Ouija board works is based off of a physiological response. It's called ideomotor response. And this happens when you clear your mind and you allow your subconscious to take control of your body. Now, our subconscious mind already controls a whole bunch of our body's responses. For instance, regular breathing, digestion, heartbeat. Those are all things that our subconscious mind, or our kind of our lizard brain, that controls. And when you take your conscious mind, your waking mind, and you set it aside for just a moment, your subconscious mind can come through. You see this working with dowsing. You see it working with pendulum work, and it also works with the Ouija board. So, that said, let me give you this. If you are truly frightened of spirits, why would you play with a Ouija board in the first place? Nobody ever really seems to have that kind of answer. If you're going to play with the Ouija board, if you're going to use it, you have to either acknowledge that there's a possibility that you're going to be afraid of what the Ouija board says, or not play with it at all. There's no point in playing with the Ouija board if all you're going to do is scare the hell out of yourself. The same thing goes for any sort of psychic work. It goes for so many facets in life that it really doesn't make sense. Ouija boards are a tool. Tools can be used, they can be misused, they can be misrepresented. If you are going to use a Ouija board and you have a fear of spirits that you are willing to get past, then use it with care in mind. A very simple way to protect yourself is to ask your guardian spirit, your guardian angel, your ancestors, whatever form of protective force you believe exists, to come to you and to assist you during this session. Allowing that protective force in will keep whatever negative entities you're afraid of out. Now, with Halloween coming up, Halloween is a time when the veil between the worlds is very thin. What that means is that the spirits of the other side can speak with us a little easier. A lot of our attention during this time turns more toward the dark time, more toward the with Halloween around, we start seeing ghosts and ghouls and goblins running around. So it's already in our unconscious mind the possibility of speaking with spirits. So it makes it a little easier for us to be able to do so. It's a perfect time for Ouija board activity. It's a perfect time for any sort of intuitive art, in that we are so close to the other side most of the time Now we're on the borderlands between the two worlds. And so it's a lot easier for us to pick up messages from the other side. That includes intuitives like myself, as well as regular people who choose not to explore their intuitive side. So, with that, Ouija boards are a tool. They're not to be toyed with, just like your dad's hammer. You don't want to play with your dad's hammer without asking permission. Just like a gun, you don't want to play with it without knowing how to use it. And so learning how to use the Ouija board requires first courage, next the ability to recognize your own state of mind when you sit down to use the Ouija board, and third, recognition that what you put into the Ouija board is what you get out of it. If you want to contact the spirit of Elvis, you can. If you want to contact the spirit of Cthulhu, you can. It's all a matter of what it is that you're seeking to get out of the session. If you want to find a lost item, you can use a Ouija board for that, just like a pendulum. If you are looking for a place to go on your next vacation, you can use a Ouija board for that as well. The Ouija board itself has no power. You're the person with the power. You're the person with the sight, with the gift. And allowing spirits to help you discover information always comes with it the caveat that you attract the spirits to you who are most like you. If you're a good person, I'm going to put that in quotations, if you're a good person, you're going to attract good spirits. If you are somebody who is abusive, if you are somebody who takes pleasure in the unmitigated pain of others, I'm not talking Schadenfreude here, I mean, Charlie Manson type pleasure and pain. If you're that kind of person, you are going to attract to you the spirits who are most like you. So if you are a good person, you have no reason to fear the Ouija board, because good people will always attract good spirits to them. I'll be available at Crohn's Hollow today from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. I'll be available to take your questions about the Ouija board and also to give readings. I would like to congratulate one of my students, Megan, for going out into the world and starting her own tarot consultation business. And that's what I have today. Please visit me at Crohn's Hollow. Phone number is 801-906-0470. And the address is 20... Oh, I can't remember the address. I'll write it. It'll be down here somewhere. So, everybody have a wonderful day. Thank you.